Hi. Anybody that knows me knows a couple things. One, I love nature. I love going out in the woods and hiking and identifying trees and plants. And the other day I was walking and I found this. And I know you know what it is. It's a feather. But it's an awful big feather, and I wondered what kind of bird it might be, and I thought it might be a hawk. But I took a closer look at the feather, and I looked at the very ends of the feather and saw that they were even more feathered than a normal feather, which means it comes to real small little peaks. And I knew there was a bird that flies mainly at night that has these kinds of feathers, which allows them to sneak up on prey silently. It causes their wings to almost be silent. Do you know what kind of bird that is? I know you, I bet you guessed. Only at night, hunts for prey. It's an owl. And this happens to be the feather of a that's a chicken. A barred owl. I can tell by the different lines on the feather. Now, the other day I went for a hike to see some plants that you see this time of year. And I want you to come along with me, and I'm going to help you identify some key plants, especially the one that causes people the most problems when they go hiking, and that's poison ivy. And a lot of times, even a lot of adults don't know how to identify poison ivy. So today I'm going to take you on a hike and teach you all about poison ivy. Come along.
Hi, Mr. Schmidt again. I'm out in nature. And you know, with a lot of things being closed nowadays, one thing that's never closed is nature. Go take a hike. They say that forest bathing, and forest bathing isn't what you think it is. Forest bathing is going out and walking in the woods, makes you feel happier, makes you healthier. So take some time, go for a walk. Hi. One thing when you're hiking, you should really try staying on established trails. Once you get off into the brush and things, you can pick up insects like ticks and things, and even worse, poison ivy. I want to show you what poison ivy looks like. So this is poison ivy. It has 3 leaves, and if you want to look at them, they can sort of change shape and size a little bit. Sometimes they can grow up trees. Sometimes they look more reddish. They say it sort of looks like a mitten. One on each side sort of looks like a mitten. You can see the little thumb-like projection, and the other one has one on the other side, where the one in the middle has knobbies on both sides. I'm going to show you a couple different types and see how they change. Here's one that is a bigger plant of it. It has many more leaves and lots of little ones down below. Here's another good example of poison ivy. You see the multiple leaves. I've seen this grow up trees as a vine. I've seen it grow low like this to the ground. It's really a master of camouflage. The one thing to look for are the 3 leaves. Some people say 3 leaves, let them be. This is all poison ivy, and you can see it growing up the tree as a vine. And even in winter when there's no leaves, if you were to grab it, you could get poison ivy just by grabbing the vines. So like I say, it's a chameleon. Here is poison ivy again. See, this really has the defined mitten-like qualities on both the side leaves and the double on the top. It's not as serrated edged as that other one was. Here's some more. Once you know what to look for, it's easy to recognize poison ivy. Here's another one. See how it almost looks more like an oak leaf in shape. It has more edges, more ridges, but that's poison ivy too.
When I first saw this plant, I thought it was a pitcher plant, which is a carnivorous plant. It actually eats insects, but it wasn't. I knew it, but I couldn't remember. This is actually what they call a jack in the pulpit, and it's sort of a rarish flower in the woods, but they're neat to find. It is not a carnivorous plant. It doesn't eat insects. It actually attracts insects to help pollinate the plant to make more. But this is called jack in the pulpit.
And early spring flowers, these are buttercups. I love these cute little flowers. And if you know where to look, you can find wild raspberries. Now, these have leaves of 3, but you can tell they're not poison ivy because they have thorns on them. And in a few more weeks, they will have black raspberries growing on them. Just delicious. They make the best jam. On the edge of the woods in the forest, you'll see lots of different plants. There's lots of ferns here. These are the ferns, and I should know which one these are. I'm not sure. I should look it up. But you can see different types of ferns. You can see different types of plants. And it's great to look through an area and count how many different plants you might find. So a mossy area near a lake. These are cattails that are growing up. You can see the old brown ones that were from last year and they died back, and now the new ones are going forth. Almost every part of the cattail is useful. The root, the Native Americans and early settlers would eat. It's a very starchy, tuberous root. They would weave the leaves into mats and things that they would use. So, very useful plant. This is a vine of poison ivy growing up the tree. And if you look right here, you see that it's sort of reddish. Early leaves first come out with tinges of red, and in the fall, the leaves will turn red as well. But you can really see how the leaves, when they start out, they look just like that, and then they get a little bigger, and they can be on trees or the ground. Now, a lot of people think that this is poison ivy, but the key telltale sign is, yes, it's a vine or an ivy-like thing, but it's got how many leaves? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, this is not poison ivy, so you don't have to worry about that. And these funky plants with the big leaves look something almost prehistoric. This is called Mayapple, and you can see right here that something's starting to grow, and in about another month they'll have a thing underneath that'll sort of look like an apple, and that's why they call it a Mayapple. This is milkweed. It is the plant that monarch butterflies like to grow on. So later in the season, if you see milkweed, you might see a chrysalis of a monarch or a monarch caterpillar, which is typically black, white, and yellow, munching on it. They eat this for food, and then once the flowers hatch and the monarch butterfly hatches, the monarch butterfly uses the nectar from the flowers to feed itself. Poison ivy, but this is wild grapes. You can see the grapes already starting to form, and later there'll be this real rich black color. You can make jam out of them, but you're going to have to add a lot of sugar because they are just so tart.